from around the world to the World Series of KRAKOW Teqball. It's the first World Series since Paris earlier this year, and we are up and running. We've just finished with the men's singles bronze match, and we're moving swiftly on to the women's doubles. Of course, that coming up shortly, but it's been a busy day so far, and you can see KRAKOW Old Town is the venue of choice here for this event. And today's matches, as you can see, the women's doubles final following the men's singles bronze match. We then have the men's final, so plenty of action. We've got action throughout the course of today, 10 matches over the course of the day. We've already had 2, and of course 8 more to follow. Myself, James Anadakis, and Tim White will be describing the action for you over the course of this broadcast, and we're looking forward to get underway with the women's doubles final. Tim, you can see a pretty packed crowd here in KRAKOW, and the locals have turned out in their numbers to enjoy the action.
Yeah, very well, it's a perfect setting, isn't it? Don't have too many outdoor events, but it is good to get one in Europe. A cloudy day, a little bit cooler than we maybe imagined when we saw this one on the calendar. And the first live action we'll be bringing you is this women's doubles, as you can see, with Jeanette Janicek and Leah Vashash, 2 very household names in the sport. And what a clash, because they're taking on Rafaela Fontes and Natalia Guitler, the young and the old, the sensational partnership and former world champions from Brazil. We are situated right in the centre of the old town. There's 2 big squares here. This is the little market, if you like, Malirinek, in this historic city. I could not wish for a more beautiful setting in the old town. And James, yeah, it's really heartening to see a big crowd out here. And of course, in 9 months, we'll be back here because, thankfully, in a multi-sport event for the first time, we will see Teqball on the biggest of stages.
That's right, yeah, the European Games next year, of course, being held here in Poland. And this is the world's fastest growing sport. If you are new to Teqball, then welcome. Best of 3 sets. So you can see Martin Shista is going to be refereeing this match. Best of 3 sets. First team to reach 12 points. The deciding set won by 2 clear points. We will explain the rules as we go along. If you are new to the sport, a warm welcome. This is the world's fastest growing sport, and we are excited to get underway with our first broadcast here, the women's doubles final. Tim's going to be describing the action.
Thanks, James. So up on the big stage and getting a little shocked. We've been shocked by those blasts of air every time the players have taken to the stage away to our right. And Janet Janicek and Leah Vashash. And taking on these 2, the experienced Brazilians who are just up on the stage, and we'll have a look at them on your screens in the background there. Coming down to join them, Rafaela Fontes, the youngster, 20 years old, and the smallest player on the circuit, against the partnering the 35-year-old Natalia Guitler, and the tallest, one of the tallest players, I think, in the women's game as well. And Jason make a really good balance. I know you saw them win the World Championship, didn't you? But there has been revenge more recently for the Hungarian pair, and this really is a toss-up.
It really is a good final, Tim. Nicely teased there. Rafaela Fontes, affectionately known as Rafinha, is very much the yin to Natalia Guitler's yang. Very passionate players, very loud. You'll see them celebrating and cheering every single point that they win, but up against very difficult opponents. Janet Janicek and Leah Vashash, who have double rankings of 3rd and 6th respectively, versus the 4th place team. It really is a good battle, this, and I'm excited to see how it plays out.
Well, they have a minute warm-up before the match proper starts. Referee Martin will be keeping a careful eye, and we've got big screens up here for the spectators, superb facilities, as we look forward to the first of the big matches here today, the finals. As James has been saying, they come thick and fast. We'll have the men's singles final more or less straight off the back of this one. Then we'll have the lunch break, and then after that we'll have the women's singles, mixed doubles and men's doubles bronze matches, and then the finals of those 3 as well, taking us right through till after 6 o'clock in the evening. Well, Leah Vashash had a brilliant Napoli. It was a tournament to remember for her on the European Teqball Tour, and looking to do it on the World Series with Janicek. But up against Rafaela Fontes and Natalia Guitler, it's going to be tough.
Yeah, Rafaela Fontes and Natalia Guitler are used to playing with each other. World champions, of course, in the World Championships last year, held here in Poland.
Okay, we will
Poland
start.
has been a very popular location for this sport in the last couple of years. But there you go, your women's doubles
Team
final.
red.
Yeah, it was in
Team green.
Gliwice, wasn't it? It's nice to see it come
Team
to
red to
Krakow,
serve.
and the crowd have really warmed to this one. A lot of people just
First
wandering by the
service.
square, seeing what it's all about and coming to watch from the sidelines, even without the seats in the stands that you can see around. They're getting the low header in. Vashash has to get the third touch over the net, in case you're new to the sport, and you have to play the third
Point
shot,
for Team
or the
Red.
last shot of your team in the rally, with a different part of the body every occasion. So the first point of the final goes to the red and black Brazilian team.
And you saw there
First
the first
service.
example of Gitler and Jefinha just pumping up the volume a little bit, egging each other on. Imposing, intimidating style as smash comes in from Gitler there.
Header down, not too many options there for Janicek, and low out header,
for Team
beautifully
Red.
done. Just took the pace off the ball, and with the Hungarians stood a little back from the table, no chance for Janicek to get that one. 2-0 for the Brazilians.
That shot, when it's cut short like that, is referred to as a harvester. When a player shortens
First
the ball
service.
during gameplay. Natalia Gitler exercising that shot to
Oh.
perfection there. A good start by the Brazilian team.
Two chances on serves, not
Second
dissimilar
service.
to tennis. This one has to go in, otherwise you lose the point. It would be a double fault, a captain's error, captain's fault. Now it's set up nicely, but Gitler maybe not feeling it was quite high enough to get the smash in, and tried the delicate off the knee, but into the net. So the Hungarian
service.
team off the mark. They'll have a lot of support here, the Hungarians.
Out. Second service.
Worth mentioning as well, VAR is at play today for the first time in a European competition.
Super
for Team
smash from
Green.
Janicek. She's been doing that for many years on the circuit.
Change serves.
And no reply
Team
from the
Green to
Brazilian
serve.
team.
So it's now change of serve after the first 4 points, and I think Hungary will be pretty pleased with
First
that, actually.
service.
Vashash now with a chance to attack on her serve.
Out. Point
Mistake
for Team Green.
from Gitler. They play in Rio for Time Teqball Rio team.
First service.
Yeah, it's important that Gitler doesn't get too
Edge ball.
frustrated earlier on. Sometimes she can get frustrated and can lose her head. That'll be
New
come
first
down
service.
in this competition, because of course we have yellow and red cards
4.
at play. Yellow card simply as a warning, a red
Second
card would be a
service.
point given to the opposing team. But it's not given to the individual per se. Fontes is
Table
interested to
touch.
keep her
Point for
teammate
Team Red.
nice and calm.
Yeah, there is an appeal, VAR, if needed, and infinite appeals on set points. Vashash has been in great form of late, as we said earlier. Had
First
a very
service.
good. Naples was
Edge ball.
runner-up in this event with Janicek, but got the
New
mixed
first
doubles
service.
title in a titanic effort. A trusty left foot. He's a footballer as well as a Teqball player. Vashash again setting it up for herself, having to use the knee to get it over. Chance of the harvester header, and uses the net. A little bit of luck about that one, but it goes to the Brazilians, who stay just ahead of the game, 4-3.
Yeah, we expected this to be tight. I don't know if we thought it was going to be quite this tight in the opening stages. Reminder that it's first to 12 points.
First service.
And best of 3 sets as well. We've already seen one match go the distance here
Yes.
this morning in Krakow.
Second
Still
service.
this morning, checking my watch, I've been here a few hours already.
Yeah, the men's bronze match going the full 3 sets. Almost actually delayed our broadcast here for the women's final. Women's doubles final, we'll have the singles later as well.
Out.
Smashes long there by
Point for
Janicek.
Team Red.
Yeah, mistake there, should be making that one, she knows it. So after showing the first 4 serves,
Change
the next 4, the
serves.
Hungarian
Red to
serves go
serve.
against them. They take just 1 of the 4, and that means it's 5-3
First
to
service.
Team Brazil. Yeah, just to wrap up what happened in the bronze medal matches earlier in that men's singles that James was mentioning. Adrian Dusak of Poland beat Martin Cirekli of Hungary 12-6 in the decider, and earlier in the women's
for
doubles
Team Red.
bronze match, Christina Adge, who we'll be seeing a bit today, and Gabriela Cotta beat Amélie Julien and Lauren Scherer fairly easily, 6-5 in the
First service.
bronze match. The finals of that event is here now, and the final of the men's singles is to come next.
Point for
and
Team
Hungarians fighting back as they need to do.
Yeah, that was an important
Wait
point
for my
Hungary
comments,
to
okay?
win. Brazil has started to etch a bit of a lead, but they hang fire.
First service.
Gittler now with the first serve.
Out. Second service.
Good communication out there between Gittler and Rafinha.
Good defence from Gittler, and she has the chance. Chest it down for the winner.
Team Red.
Again, caught them a little too deep. They're so fearing of her attacking prowess. She plays the delicate and takes the point to keep a 3-point advantage now with one more serve of her four to come.
First
Very
service.
precise play from Gittler. She's
Four.
using every shot available to her disposal. Or sometimes we see her as quite an attacking, forceful player
Second
out wide,
service.
but using the harvesters and the chests to really impose herself upon this first set.
Tries to set it up here for Rafinha, and now it's Janicek's turn, but couldn't get the full swing as she wanted to. And a mistake
Out.
from Gittler,
Point for
who's
Team Green.
complaining a little to her more diminutive partner about the way it was set up to her, fearful of the illegal
Change
attack.
serves.
You can't be
Team
beyond
Green to
halfway
serve.
when you play the last shot before it goes over to your opponents.
First sign
First
of
service.
that, Brazilian flair coming from Natalia Gittler there.
Out.
Well termed, James. Diplomatic.
Second
So
service.
Hungary keeping within 2 points.
Illegal attack.
Yeah,
Point
over
for Team
halfway.
Green.
A little bit of a mistake from Rafinha Fontes. Janicek, one of those players who chooses the more attacking option. We see quite a few of the women in the
Wait
sport
for
to
my comment.
take a headed first serve, as indeed Rafa Fontes herself
First
does.
service.
And the way it works with VAR is each team gets just the one challenge per match, unless of course it's set or match point. We'll explain
Point
more
for
there
Team
as
Red.
to describe the action at that point. It's
Again, just can't get back on level terms, haven't been on level terms since 2-2 in this match, and it's the Brazilians who are leading by 2,
First service.
8-6.
Out.
And there's more pressure now on Janicek, and maybe trying to
Second service.
a little too hard. She'll play the more conservative, but still goes with the leg, this time with the
Out.
8, as she does
Point for
most
Team
of the time.
Green.
They get one back again. Can they tie it up now as we enter the final stages of the set?
well, Janicek and Vashash come into this competition in
First
good form.
service.
They won USA Teqball Tour
It's
in Miami.
wasn't it? Yeah.
Out.
Again, can't nail that
Second
first serve.
service.
7-8, pressure on here.
Also winners in Paris.
Oh, nice
Point
finish.
for Team Red.
At the Teqball Masters earlier this year.
Well, there's almost a foot, if you're
Change
used to
serves.
imperial measurements,
Team Red to
between
serve.
the two Brazilians. 29 centimetres difference. And the height of Gittler is
First service.
harder to get the power on the smash.
Out.
Works though, doesn't it?
Certainly does.
Second service.
See the more conservative second serve on the
Illegal
header. Illegal
attack.
attack from Janicek is called. Will they appeal it? Janicek looks crestfallen. And now real pressure. 2 points away from the opening set. The Brazilian team in the colours of Botafogo, I think, if I'm...
Flamengo.
First service.
Flamengo it is.
They're sponsored by Flamengo as
Ah,
well, although
okay.
Natalia Gittler, interestingly, is a Botafogo fan, so
That's where I'd
you
read
weren't
it.
completely wrong.
Well, some say the home of football or soccer,
Illegal
but
attack.
some
Point
would
for
want it
Team
to
Red.
become the home of Teqball as well. Certainly in South America it is. And these two are flying the flag for Brazil. And they are now at set point.
Yeah, you can see quite clearly an illegal return
First
there,
service.
crossing the line of the net. Big point this.
Out.
So 4
Second
set
service.
points. Rafinha tries with the head on both. Ashas tees it up. Janicek, well, it's going to be, is it an edge?
It looked like
Repeat
an edge
it, ready?
ball, so the point will be repeated for those of you new to the sport. If the ball hits the edge of the table, edge ball is called.
Janicek saying it wasn't. Will they appeal? Yeah, they're going to
They're gonna
VAR, I
appeal,
think.
yeah.
Vashash is making this
What?
signal off your screen.
Well, you get the chance to,
It is set point.
yeah, at set point you get effectively unlimited challenges, so
Oh, now Martin's coming across. There are two officials watching on both sides, so he's going to have a little chat to his colleague and decide whether they'll overrule themselves or whether we will need VAR. I think we'll end up going to VAR anyway, so I don't really see
if
what...
they've challenged, then they can challenge, can't they? It's,
Well, we'll have a sneaky look here. Now it crossed the net. The way it bounced up, it didn't look a natural bounce, did it?
The momentum of the ball, obviously, if it's the side of the table, then the point would be lost. But
it bounced up. It
yeah,
looked like
the momentum of the ball knocked it up.
Here we go.
Challenge accepted. Point
Challenge
for
accepted.
Green.
Here we go.
So now we'll be able to watch those replays again, and they'll be on the big screen here as well for people inside the Mali Rinek.
First service.
Okay.
Oh.
So I think the VAR has run its process without us seeing, but either way, it's been accepted, and it will be an edge ball. We're back on set point then, Tim.
And a chance for Guitler. Didn't quite get the power she wanted. Janishek has to go with the head, having used the foot. Now teed up for a power header smash. Vashash just defensively gets it back, gets good depth to the end of the table. Guitler again, struggling to nail this one. It's a long rally, but the mistake from Vashash on the trusty left foot, it lets her down, and the opening set goes to the Brazilians, 11-8. And in truth, James, they never looked like losing that opening set.
No, they carved that lead early on, didn't they? It was 2-2 after the first service, and there onwards they just seemed to be in control. When Gittler and Rafinha are playing well, then they are very difficult to beat, and that has been the case in this opening set. You're seeing a few of the replays on your screen there. It's just been challenged. It's been challenged
because it's set point, I think. But
I think we've got to get used to this, because the challenges you are allowed at set point, I don't think that was...
At any point, I didn't see anything naturally wrong.
No.
Here's the final.
It's well back, isn't it?
And Vashash then couldn't find the table.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost a case of you've got a free challenge every set point.
And I'm not sure that. I mean, we're still developing. It's the world's fastest growing sport, and we're still getting to know, aren't we? Well,
hang on a minute. Has that been overturned?
Repeated return. So you can't, as we said during commentary, you have to use a different part of the body every time. So maybe it was a lucky challenge.
And live and kicking.
We had it done and dusted 11-8 at 12-8. It's now 11-9.
Fantastic challenge that from Hungary.
Maybe they did realise why they were challenging. Guitler with the smash. She wins it this time. Surely no doubt about that one. They might have another go, but well, in the end, it just delayed the inevitable, and it is the Brazilians to take the opening set. And this time, there is no challenge. 12-9, the opening set goes to the Brazilian pairing of Fontes and Guitler, and Rafinha and her senior partner by 15 years, getting off to a good start here.
I think it's worth clarifying what happened with the rules there. So obviously the challenge came in from Janishek and Vashash, and you have to return with a different body part from the previous point. So for example, if you return with your head, you then have to return with your knee, your shoulder, your foot as your next point, which obviously wasn't the case there on that first set point. So it was a good challenge by Janishek and Vashash, Hungarian team.
Yeah, it wasn't picked up by the referee out there. It's a difficult job being a referee. You're trying to look at everything.
And KRAKOW offering his words of wisdom, just maybe perhaps trying to inspire that Hungarian team to up their game in the second set. And they need to find something a little different, don't they? It didn't quite work for them in that first set, but these four players are used to playing against each other, and I wouldn't be surprised if this one does go the distance. Yeah,
they've only met once as a doubles pairing in women's doubles, that both involved in singles and mixed doubles as well, and the previous time they did meet in one of the main events did see the Hungarians triumphing. The former world champions of 2021, of course, the Brazilian pairing, taking the first set here. On that occasion they beat the Americans, KRAKOW and Osmundson. And then twice winners on tour in Brazil as well, in their home city of Rio.
And also a Rio Challenger, wasn't it? Natalia Gittler's won a couple of world championships, mixed world champion in 2019. She's got the experience, that's for sure. Rafinha has the spice in her game.
Sure, the Brazilians looking for revenge, remembering what happened in the World Series in Paris. Vashash with a little flick over the net, but a chance for Fontes. A little unexpectedly came back to her. Thought that She thought the partner was going to take it, but it all works out well in the end. Janeček defensively can't get it back off the chest from a little distance.
So Hungary have got to be careful here. Teqball very much about momentum.
First service.
With the Brazilians as things stand, and as we've been saying, when Rafinha and Hitler are playing like this, it really does take a lot to get past them, and they are dominating the early stages of this second set, Tim.
Yeah, these four have got such high standards, and Janeček's just not at the level that we normally see of the 26-year-old. They looked imperious, had a great win over the French pairing of Julien and Shearer. Haven't dropped a set throughout the tournament, whereas Fontes and Guitler did drop a set to the Hungarian team of Ach and Kota. Smash, well defended by Janeček. She moves in for the headed harvester, but again gets a little unlucky. He might say it's a little careless. Bounces off the net, doesn't hit the table. The point again goes to Brazil, and the team from Rio has already opened up a 3-0 lead. As James was saying, so important about momentum, not to let things get too far away from you.
Yeah, you worry now for Janeček and Vasash. They look a little bit crestfallen and making mistakes.
Good serve though from the left-footed Vasash, and a good recovery there. Be set up for her again, but she can't tip it over. Mistakes are plenty, and the Brazilian team, you can see them in the corner, absolutely ecstatic for every point, as James said. Real passion from the South Americans. And the KRAKOW taking a clean sweep of the 4 serves from Lea Vasash. 4-0.
Well, Janeček and Vasash won the Teqball World Series in Paris earlier this year, but it doesn't look to be going their way today.
It's a nice header, a little harvester, but kept alive. Oh, brilliant header, so low from Rafinha. Janeček just stabbing it back to the little Brazilian. The big girl's in, and a decent smash, but still a chance for Janeček off the chest this time. Rafinha taken by surprise a little, close to being an illegal attack, surely there.
Point for Team Green.
And the Hungarians get off the mark. They're just contemplating whether to challenge. Whitler's asking a coach whether to challenge or not. He basically said, no, just get on with the game. Don't waste your challenge at this stage.
Out.
So maybe, having taken that first point, if they can just take another here, put a bit of pressure on Rafinha. Vasash for the smash, but she misses again. Apologies between the teammates, but it's catching. Vasash now making the mistakes that Janeček was making earlier.
First service.
At this point, you wonder if you're a Hungarian Teqball fan, what they can do to try and get themselves back in as the illegal attack comes in from Vasash there.
Yeah, Janeček,
one-way traffic.
Yeah, Janeček put too much on that. The elementary mistakes being made here. It's so below par, and it's a little unfortunate because we were hoping for a real classic, as James said. We thought this would be a real close affair, and the first set was nip and tuck for a while, but never really a thriller like we had in Napoli a few weeks ago, when we had 2 absolutely sensational matches. Fontes doesn't want anything sensational here. She and her partner want to wrap this one up in straight sets, but they get a second point in the set, the second out of 8, and those 4 serves are shared 2-2. Now they need to take 3 realistically. Janeček needs the first serve here, because that's a power serve. She'll go with the round foot, and the brilliant ace. Did it get the table without the edge? It did. 6-3. Are they starting to fire now, James?
Well, as you mentioned, they need to try and get a little run of points here. That ace from Janeček. Oh, that's another one. Oh no, kept alive.
Brilliantly kept alive. Great defence from the Brazilian pairing. Vasash has a chance to nail it, and she does!
And just like that, it's clicking into place. Is it too little, too late?
Taken them a lot of time. Well, it certainly isn't. Just 2 points in it. They've come back from losing the first 4 points and been 6-2 down. 4-6 and fighting. Can she make it 3 first serves out of 3?
First service. Great serving from Janeček, isn't it? She's really finding the table with those smash serves, but that one clipped the net and bounces over, so it will be a second serve.
Mark of a champion, and she has been a champion, is to do it under pressure when your team needs you. Conservative second serve will be teed up with a 1-2 for Guitler, but she hits the net. It's a mistake for the Brazilian. and suddenly the pressure getting to them.
Well, that's what I was just about to say. We are now starting to see a little bit of a flip in momentum. Those mistakes that we were seeing from the Hungarians are starting to make their way into the Brazilians team, and you can see that run of points, 4 in a row now for Hungary.
More pressure for the Brazilians. Janacek with the first serve again. Oh, she's over halfway. Vashash. Well, we said they needed 3 out of 4 of those service points. They got the first 3 and might have had that as well. It's a little careless between the two of them.
They've made a match of it. Don't be surprised if we see a timeout called by one of the coaches here.
First service.
We're at such a crucial point of this match. But we know Gittler has such a powerful serve.
That's very well played from Vashash to keep them in the rally, but power header, the smash from Vontes. You don't see too many of those from a player under 5 feet tall, just 1.50 m.
She's mean.
She's got attitude, boy. Let's say they've just been made to wait for a little while, the replays have shown. She's eager to get on with it.
A wry smile on the face of Gittler there. Like Tim said, you don't see too many of those.
Oh, it's unfortunate for Janacek, but she again, as James said earlier, looks crestfallen. They're going to have a timeout, as James said. And it is crucial because having got back to within 1 point at 5-6, they've lost 3 in a row, and it's 9-5 as we have a minute's timeout.
So Adam Bako, the Hungarian coach, just going through things with Janacek and Vashash. It seems to be a little bit of a tightness, perhaps, on the top left shoulder there of Vashash. Meanwhile, Marquinhos, the Brazilian coach, just saying keep going as you are, because you are only now a few points away from victory. It's within your hands. Vashash looks a little bit uncomfortable out there, doesn't she? I must say this has not been the typical aggressive, composed performance we're used to from Vashash.
There's a bit of a breeze here. Do you think that has? I mean, it's quite enclosed in the small square here, and we do have hoardings up and the building's protected. But it may just make a slight difference to those close calls.
I'm not sure. I mean, we are obviously exposed to the elements here. It's one of the first times we've had an outside venue, especially in the middle of the city here. Obviously we had Teqball Masters in Cape Verde and Sal in 2019 when we were on the beach. Obviously beach Teqball is a very different sport in terms of the way it's played, but I think as long as we don't get any rain, which is not impossible, Tim, we should be okay here.
So 9-5, timeout over. This first serve, just maybe a little momentum disrupted. It's, as James said, a good idea when things are going against you, just to try and stop the flow, take a timeout. Vashash trying to set up Janacek. Is it over halfway? It is. It's Vashash's mistake.
It was Vashash's mistake, and you know, Janacek maybe a year ago might have got away with a shot like that, but with VAR at play, and bear in mind Brazil still have their challenge. It's 5-10, and they're closing it.
2 points away from gold.
Second service.
First gold in KRAKOW World Series 22. Captain's fault. Unusually no pressure there. So just keeps them alive as we enter the 4 serves for the Hungarian. And Vashash has a really good
first service,
left-footed serve as well. If she can generate the power and get first serves here, could cause the Brazilians problem. They need 3 points minimum here, otherwise it's game over. Not just the set, of course. Gittler, is that illegal? It doesn't matter anyway because it hits the side. And that's the first of the 3 minimum that they need. If they take 3, it'll be 11-9.
It would take something heroic to come back from here, but if anyone can do it, it's Janacek and Lea Vashash.
Well, they're both attacking players. We've seen greater comebacks before.
First service.
You can see that was an illegal return anyway.
4.
Can't get the first serve. Puts her under pressure
Second
now
service.
because you can see that there'll be a layup for Gittler here. Montes does her job. The smash. Janacek can't get there. It bisects them down the middle, usually going wide. Janacek just found it too far out of her reach. Perfect smash. Too near for Vashash to get there. So, match point.
First service.
11-7, just like in the first set.
4. Second service.
Crowd holds its breath. Gittler misses, hits the net.
Team green.
Well, they've taken 2 of the 3 they needed to stay in the match. Still is match point, but He rears down to 3. Needs the first serve.
First service.
Needs to attack here. Puts pressure. Fontesh will be defensive here with the chest and can't make it.
Point for Team Green.
So they do take the 3 minimum required. They stay alive, but 11-9.
If they can somehow find a way of getting those next
Change
2 points, and it
serves.
does go
Team Red
11-all,
to
you have to
serve.
win by 2 clear points. You can see the momentum of this set swinging one way or another.
First
It's cagey
service.
as we approach the final points here. Brazil with another match point.
It's close to the edge, but not given. But the smash from Vashash couldn't get there.
Point for Team
think
Green.
Mistake. Will there be a challenge?
Rafinha knew she'd crossed the line there.
Yeah.
Hungary are doing a sensational job of hanging on here.
Well, it looks like it might be running away from them.
First service.
But they're back at 11-10. Pressure on the server now. Fontesh gets it in. Vashash with the header. Had to be careful not to go over halfway. Guitler just tries the harvester. Is that over halfway? There'll be a challenge. I'm sure she is celebrating. And Janicek body language changes as well.
That's unbelievable. I think
There is going to be a challenge,
Yeah.
James.
Here comes the challenge, and you might as well challenge at this point
Exactly.
because they've got unlimited challenges.
Free
from this
hit,
point
really,
forward.
isn't it?
Video verification for
Must
Team
have
Red.
been
I tell you
Illegal
what.
attack.
quite close, James. My natural reaction was, but the first
I think
contact
that's
is
good.
clean, I think.
I think that's going to be okay.
We've got a monitor in front of us. It's actually easier to look on the big screen. They've
What
got
I
great
will-
facilities here.
What I will say is it just gives you an idea
Challenge
of the
is completed.
athleticism there
No
from
illegal
Lea
attack. Point
Vashash,
for
the
Team
position
Green.
she's got herself into. No illegal attack, so we are on 11-all now. And somehow Hungary have clawed their way back into this.
They were 10-6 and 11-7 down. 4 points in a row. So now even more pressure, perhaps,
Set
on
point and match
Fontesh.
point.
and
First
Got to win by
Guitler.
2 clear points now, and Rafinha is still serving.
Is that an edge?
Red.
No.
We might
Look
see
at
another
disbelief. Vashash is holding her shoulder again,
And you can
and
see-
they're gonna review
Okay,
just in
video
case it's an edge
verification
ball.
for Team Green. Edge ball, yes. Edge ball.
They
Edge ball.
were shaking hands for the match. They're celebrating now. They think that's not an edge ball. It looked like a natural bounce off the table, and it will be the match, will it? No.
Point for Team
No
Red.
edge ball.
Team Red
It
wins.
is point to Brazil, and they take it the narrowest of margins, 12-11, having won the first set 12-9. So it was competitive, it was dramatic in the end, but it is no need for a final set, and it is a victory and revenge after the defeat in Paris and the World Series for Fontesh and Guitler.
Yeah, that was a slightly different narrative to what we saw in Paris. Guitler and Fontesh just really were dominant throughout that match. There was a bit of a resurgence in that second set. You feel the Janicek and Vashash that we're used to this season started to shine through, but in the end, it was too little too late, and Brazil have done it. They are the World Series champions here in Krakow, celebrating with some friends, fans, and Natalia Guitler is pretty famous, not just within Teqball, but foot volley, and she's just high-fiving Victor in the background there, one of the co-founders of Teqball, a popular figure amongst the players, and of course a big factor here, Victor Huchard. You can see there some of the statistics from that match.
Well, first service in is a big difference, and that's where they lost it. 2 attacking players, if you only get 42% in, then you're going to be in trouble against the top teams.
Unforced errors pretty level across the board, obviously a few more from Hungary. Those first serves, as you mentioned, Tim, was a big difference in the end. First serve points won as well, 37%.
It was an ace, though. I remember one ace.
I know,
It says
I thought there
0-0,
was an
but
ace.
definitely Janicek got one when she was when her team was under pressure.
Yeah, there's a couple of those big serves, weren't there, from Janicek? And you can see just how much that means, celebrating with coach Marquinhos. And those two will be playing, of course, later in the mixed doubles bronze match. We're just seeing a replay now of that match point. And Janicek just sort of stepped over it, didn't she? I think she might have thought it was edge ball.
Yeah. Just wonder if they were fully fit, actually. Vashash was getting, as you said during one of the timeouts, intense treatment during the 60 seconds possible on her shoulder, but they just did make too many mistakes today, and if we had an unforced errors count on those stats, then it would certainly not be in favour of the Hungarian team. So the first match is over in terms of the finals here in this week of Teqball World Series 22 in Krakow. We've had the qualifiers with the group stages, followed by the knockout stages yesterday, quarterfinals and semis, and then the bronze medal matches and the finals today. So commiserations to Janicek and Vasas, defeated by 9 and 11 by the Brazilian World Series champions. You see them on your screen, Fontes and Giedler. The crowd will settle in now for the second match, just looking for the players emerging from behind us. And watch a few more of the highlights before we get the action underway for the next final here. The men's singles final will be coming up in a few minutes.
There you can see Marius Aspie, the General Secretary of FISEC, in the back of your shot there. All the big guns are out for this World Series. Held for the first time in a city centre. We'll expose the elements, as Tim was correctly pointing out earlier on. And now building up to coverage of the men's singles final.
Fantastic city, Krakow, and it will be a great setting for the European Games as a whole, multi-sport event. It's about 20 sports, I think, from memory. Well, it's going to be in June next year. What's
great about this setting is it's the new versus the old, isn't it? You've got the old town here in Krakow, all the sort of ancient architecture surrounding this venue, and then this new sport. And it's just a perfect blend here as we are building up, like I said, to coverage of that men's singles final.